Hello and welcome to iFashy. We only get to hear my voice all the time, but today we'll be seeing more of my face. In today's video, while you're getting to know me, we'll be educating us on how to grow as a fashion designer. Whether you're already in the business, whether you're an aspiring fashion designer, sit with your popcorn while I share my little story with you. I'm going to be using my story as a reference to this discussion, not because I am where I want to be, but because I am no longer where I used to be. And what changed? Because I decided to make a move. If I had kept postponing or complaining about the situation I had around me, I would still be stagnant by now in one place while the years passes me by. So today, I hope you learn a thing or two from this video. And not just learn, I'm also offering you an opportunity to get better at your fashion design dreams and journey. In 2021, when I finished learning with my first madam, I decided to start sewing for myself and posting online for people to see. Fast forward to 2022, I decided to go for an upgrade because at this point, some friends had started reaching out to me to make some dresses for them, some styles for them. And truth be told, I wasn't very confident with some of the styles and designs that they were sharing with me to make for them. And what kept that upgrade thing coming in my mind was because whenever they send me a design, I find it really difficult to analyze and break down that particular design before you start sewing. You know, in fashion, you don't just start putting scissors into your fabric and start cutting. You have to even understand where exactly to start from. So the thought of going for upgrade kept coming and coming over and over again in my mind, but I didn't have the money. And because I did not have that money to register for the particular fashion school that I was admiring, that I had in mind to go, I drifted away from fashion for a year to go and start working as a sales girl in a hair shop, a place that doesn't even have anything to do with sewing, right? But while I was still there, my mind knew where it belonged. So I started getting some courses online, buying some courses online, random courses online, how to make pant trouser, how to make this. I did that at my free periods or weekends that I'm even supposed to be resting before resuming on Monday. So I worked throughout that year. I saved throughout the year. I saved as much as I could. And then I started writing out lists of things that I'll need. I'll need a sewing machine. I'll need, because at that point I had just one tabletop electric sewing machine. So I started writing lists of things I'll need when I get out of this shop to actually now focus on my passion. And the first thing on the list was my school fees for that upgrade I have to go. So fast forward to 2023, I had quit this job, I had gone for upgrade, and I have graduated. And after graduation, I was surprised because I thought I would get something entirely different from the online courses I was getting before I went there, right? But no, it wasn't entirely different. I'm not here to tell you that physical class is better than online class or online class is better than physical class, because I've had both. During my time, the major difference I noticed was that the online classes I was getting as at that time were not as structured as the physical class that I went for. I was just picking random courses they are selling. Today you see a fashion designer selling pants, trouser courses, corset courses, you know. It's not arranged and structured the way the physical class was structured. They both have positives and negatives. Now, why am I telling you this? In fashion, it is important to keep learning. It's important you keep upgrading and improving your skills. If you're a busy person or you cannot afford this physical class because some of these physical classes can be very expensive, or you're somebody that likes to learn at your own pace without the whole rush that can come with these physical classes, we have a solution for that. If you've been following us, earlier this year, you know that we launched our beginners course. And some of the concerns people have for online classes has been fixed in this online class. Like the structure we talked about, the ability to ask questions, and we also hold live sessions where we review your assessments, you ask your questions, you clear your doubts. And also, the next batch of this class will be resuming in June, and they will also be resuming with the intermediate students. I will not talk much about that for now. Let's go back to my story. After graduating and rebranding, because after graduation I decided to rebrand, change some of the things that I used to do before I took that break and then started again, because now I felt more ready to take on clients, and the first thing I did was start a ready-to-wear brand. And mind you, I've always had passion for teaching. I just didn't have the clarity on how or where to start. A friend of mine who knew about that teaching part of me advised me several times to start teaching on YouTube. After much deliberations, I finally decided to start. I've had this account for long, but I wasn't posting anything on it. I just use it to watch other things on YouTube. Maybe when I want to cook something, the account was just there. And then fortunately for me, the first video I posted did very well. And I thought it was that easy until I saw my subsequent videos looking at me without views. And I had the shock of my life. Before I continue with my story, I want you to know that you should not wait for the condition to be perfect before you start. Waiting for when everything will be 100% okay, or when I will be less busy, or when everything will be perfect. It will only continue to delay the time that you're going to start. And as we know, time will not wait for you. Whether you start doing anything or not, the clock keeps ticking. There's a lot of people that the situation around them is not perfect. There's a lot going on with them, or they're very busy. For example, in our current online beginners course, we have a medical doctor on board. We all know how busy medical doctors can be, right? We also have a pregnant lady who has kids. So when these people reached out to me about, sorry, I will not be able to submit early this week, this is why, I was, wow. So you see, there's no excuse for anybody. If these people can, you can too. Sewing is not very difficult. All you need to get familiar with is understanding the basics. There's a formula with most of these things. There's a formula in getting most of these things. And you'll be learning all of that formula in this online course. The next batch is resuming in June alongside the intermediate students. And this intermediate course is for people who already know how to sew, but they are still having some minor issues that makes their work look unprofessional. Like you finish making a dress and the inside looks messy. Something as small as zipper bulge, your zip bulging at your client's back, that can be very embarrassing, and you know that you need to go for upgrade. You need to upgrade your skill. Another interesting thing about this course, you can always go back to refresh your memory on whatever you forget, because you have access to this course even after your 3 months session. You can also communicate with your instructor and your fellow students. Now, back to my story. After I had that shocker from posting and not getting views, I was discouraged and I decided to focus on my ready-to-wear brand. And then, because of that passion I had in teaching, once in a while, it still crosses my mind to just record. When I'm making some of those ready-to-wear dresses I want to post online, it comes to my mind to still record the process and drop it here. So because of that off and on once in a while, it just came back again, and I started being consistent in dropping weekly tutorials. And that's how we go where we are today. Consistency. Now, one of the lessons you can take away from my story is willingness, consistency, and the niche I later decided to choose. You can't be everywhere. It might work for some, but being everywhere doesn't work for everybody. The first thing I said, willingness. I was working as a sales girl in a place that is not a fashion design house, right? But I still knew where my mind belonged. Willingness. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to do something so that by the time you actually start doing it, it gets easy for you. So learning can be done in any way. But the two important things with learning is your willingness to learn and a good teacher that is willing to carry you along in the process. And that's where iFashy comes in. So if you're somebody that have interest in sewing and you've not started, or you're a complete beginner, you don't know how to start, or you're sewing already and you need to improve your skill, you have to take that jump. You have to make that move. Stop procrastinating, stop postponing. You have to start it, and start as soon as possible. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the next batch of our beginners and intermediate course will be starting in June. For the beginners, we are taking you from scratch, from identifying quality fabrics to how to use a sewing machine in case you haven't used one before, to stitches, hand stitching first, and then machine stitches, straight and zigzag, and different types of stitches, right? And then we move into drafting, beginner friendly pattern drafting. From there, you start making your skirts. We have shorts, we have pants, we have tops, your dresses, and then lastly, we have a bonus corset course for you. Now, for the intermediate students, we are starting with focusing on neat finishings, because you're not going to make a dress as an intermediate student and the inside will be looking rough. So from there, we move into corporate dresses, we have blazer, and then we go into corsetry. We have sketching as well, manual sketching, and then intro to beading and so on. Kindly use the link on your screen to register, or check the description box for link to join this class, and I'll see you all in class. Please remember to like and share this video so that it will be recommended to others who this video will be very useful for. And don't forget to subscribe to iFashy channel. I'll see you in our next video.